Dear students, here is a presentation specifically for redox reactions. This is a brief one in which I will be giving you idea what are redox reactions, a very clear idea, and how to basically balance redox reactions, which is the most important thing about this chapter. So let us start with redox reactions. As the name suggests, they are oxidation and reduction. Redox, RED is for reduction and OX is for oxidation. So such reactions in which oxidation and reduction reactions are taking place, they are called redox reactions. So we need to understand first of all what is the meaning of these terms, oxidation and reduction, and I'm sure you must be having some knowledge already about it, that the term oxidation initially it was used to describe the addition of oxygen to an element or a compound or removal of hydrogen from a substance, as the reactions are showing here. Mg plus O2. Here oxygen is adding to magnesium, so this is oxidation. Oxygen is adding to sulfur to give SO2. This is also oxidation. And the following illustration is another reaction where a removal of hydrogen can be taken as oxidation. So initially this definition came that addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is oxidation. So here we can say H2S is changing to S. That means we are removing hydrogen from H2S. So this particular step of changing H2S to S is called oxidation here. Now there are reactions involving not only oxygen but other electronegative elements also. Later on it was noticed that if you come across a reaction like Mg reacting with F2 or Cl2 or sulfur, these are electronegative elements like oxygen, and they are giving you corresponding products. So it was later modified, uh, the concept, the definition of oxidation, I mean, that oxidation, not only the removal of hydrogen as oxidation, but also the removal of electropositive elements and also the addition of electronegative elements like oxidation. So, as I discussed these reactions related to this information, that it may be addition of some other electronegative element also under oxidation. Same way, the removal of any other electropositive element, like if I take K4FeCN6 and after the reaction it changes to K3FeCN6. Now you can see the potassium is decreasing from K4, it has changed to K3. So we are in the reaction basically removing one electropositive atom. That is why this reaction can come under oxidation. Now, to summarize the term oxidation, as we have understood till now through the presentation, we can say the term oxidation is defined as addition of oxygen or any other electronegative element or removal of hydrogen or any other electropositive element from a substance. Same way, reduction is just opposite of it. In reduction, we can say removal of oxygen or any other electronegative element from a substance, or addition of hydrogen or any other electropositive element to a substance. Now, these are the examples of reduction processes. Here we can see in the first reaction, mercuric oxide is losing oxygen. So I will call it reduction, removal of oxygen. In the next one, removal of electronegative element, that is Cl is taking place because it is changing from FeCl3 to FeCl2. Reduction, addition of hydrogen, clearly reduction, and HgCl2 is changing to Hg2Cl2. So addition of mercury to mercuric chloride, again it is coming in the category of reduction, this particular change. So it was soon realized that in every reaction where oxidation is taking place, reduction must also be taking place simultaneously. Hence the word redox was coined for this particular category of chemical reactions. Now redox reactions in terms of electron transfer, This is the latest one as compared to other definitions, the most apt, which can be applied to any reaction, which is redox. Suppose Na plus Cl2 is giving you NaCl. I consider this reaction. Now, in this reaction, there is no hydrogen, no oxygen involved, but very easily I can categorize this under redox category. How is that possible? Let us see. For that, I should know about a particular concept. I have to see the charge on these atoms when they change to particular compound. Na has +1 charge. I'll give you the details in the upcoming slides that how these charges matter and what do we call them specifically. And Cl has -1 charge. And sodium has no charge, so I'm writing 0. Cl2 has no charge, I'm writing 0. It's very easy to understand that sodium changing from Na to +1, that means loss of electron. Cl2 changing from 0 charge, no charge, to negative charge, that means gain of electron. And if I take the balanced equation, loss of 2 electrons by 2 sodium atoms, gain of 2 electrons by 1 Cl2 molecule is giving me NaCl. So Na giving Na plus and 2 electrons, same reaction, I can write this way, and Cl2 taking 2 electrons and giving me 2 Cl minus. These two are called half reactions. I have categorized the loss of electron and gain of electron in different steps. So these are two half reactions, sodium getting oxidized, so loss of electrons is called oxidation and gain of electrons is called reduction. So in the redox reaction, Na reacting with chlorine to give me NaCl, this is the oxidation half and this is the reduction half. Each of the above steps is called a half reaction, which explicitly shows involvement of electrons. And if you take sum of these two, you will simply cancel these two electrons and it gives you the desired redox reaction, which is a balanced one. Now to summarize here, we may mention that oxidation is loss of electrons by any species and reduction is gain of electrons by any species. If I had to answer this, that justify that the given reaction is a redox reaction. So I'll simply see that from Na metal, it is changing to Na plus in the reaction, and hydrogen from the neutral form, from the elemental form, is changing to H with a negative charge, because whenever hydrogen is getting bonded to any metal, it will always have -1 charge. Now you can see the sodium is losing electron, hydrogen is gaining electron, so this is a redox reaction, justified. So now we have understood the definitions clearly. Let us understand two new terms related to redox reaction. Oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent, as the name suggests, is the species, is the reactant basically in a reaction, in a redox reaction, because every reaction may not be redox. I'll give you examples of such reactions which are not redox. So if you talk about a redox reaction, in that reaction, the reactant which helps in oxidation of the other species, the other reactant. How will it do it? It will get reduced itself. It will accept electrons, and when it is reducing itself, it will help in oxidation of something else. So that is why we call it oxidizing agent. And same way, reducing agent is donor of electron, because it will get oxidized itself. In the process, it will lose electrons, and those electrons will be taken up by the other reactant and it will get reduced. So remember that in a particular redox reaction, you have to search for oxidizing agent, which is called oxidant also, OXIDANT. And reducing agent is called reductant also. You should know these terms very clearly, and they are very easy to understand. So whenever I have to identify oxidant and reductant in a redox reaction, I'll simply identify first what is getting oxidized. Like for in this reaction, I have seen sodium is getting oxidized. So Na becomes the reducing agent and hydrogen is getting reduced. So H2 becomes the oxidizing agent because it is taking the electron from sodium, only then it is getting, sodium is getting oxidized. That's the concept. So remember it. Competitive electron transfer. The term may be new, but the concept is not new. You already know about displacement reactions. If you put a zinc rod in a copper aqueous solution, which will appear like this, blue colored, after some time you will see the color is fading away, and finally you will see the copper is depositing on the zinc rod, and the solution is absolutely colorless because of the reaction which has taken place, displacement reaction. Here zinc is losing electrons and converting to Zn2 plus. Those electrons are taken up by Cu2 plus and giving me copper. So that is how the reaction is proceeding. So this is a redox reaction. Now you can see that zinc is getting oxidized. So zinc is reducing agent and Cu2 plus is getting reduced. So Cu2 plus is oxidizing agent. As simple as that. And we can extend this electron transfer reaction now to copper metal and silver nitrate. In the earlier case, it was zinc and copper. So zinc was displacing copper because zinc is more reactive. Now here we have the opposite. Why? Because copper rod is kept here and silver nitrate solution is taken, and finally you will see the blue color is developing, and in the final stage silver depositing on the rod, and I'm getting absolutely clear blue color in the solution because it is a solution of copper ion now. Because silver is less reactive than copper, so copper has displaced silver. Again, an example of redox reaction and competitive electron transfer, that which particular species is more reactive, that will displace the other from its aqueous solution. So copper getting oxidized. So what is copper? Reducing agent or oxidizing agent? Yes, if it is getting oxidized, it has to be a reducing agent, and Ag plus is getting reduced by gaining electrons, so this has to be an oxidizing agent. Now, these reactions are the basis to design a metal activity series. You must have seen the series, electrochemical series, metal activity series, where we get potassium at the top, and then you move down, potassium, sodium, like that. Somewhere you come across hydrogen. Below hydrogen, you have copper, silver, platinum. So that is the reactivity series, and it has been practically made after studying the reactions like this. And there is a particular value which is called standard electrode potential. That has also been found experimentally. So these help us to know that what are the practical aspects, what are the applications, whether I can store a particular chemical which has some acidic component in it in a particular container of copper or any other metal or not. So that way, the basic knowledge is very important to make cells and batteries. This knowledge is required. So the competition for electrons between various metals helps us to design a class of cells named as galvanic cell, in which the chemical reaction becomes the source of electrical energy. So chemical reaction is taking place and it is providing you electrical energy, so we call them electrochemical cells. We'll study in detail later in class 12. You have a full chapter electrochemistry. So there we have the details. Now, oxidation number, the most important basic part of the chapter which will help you in balancing. In order to keep track of electron shifts, because we are talking about redox reactions, a more practical method of using oxidation number has been developed now. In this method, it is always assumed that there is a complete transfer of electron. Like we were discussing, Na is losing one electron, because that's a metal that will obviously do. But if I compare it with hydrogen and I say hydrogen is losing one electron, then somewhere the covalency comes into picture. We say hydrogen and oxygen. Suppose in this reaction, if H2 and O2 are reacting and I'm getting water, everyone knows water is not ionic in nature. It is covalent. But we imagine that there is complete transfer in the oxidation number concept that H is changing to +1 and oxygen is changing to -2. This is the first basic thing. When hydrogen reacts with chlorine, again +1 and -1 for H and Cl respectively. Same way for methane. We know that carbon is more electronegative than hydrogen, so it has to be -4 for carbon and +1 for hydrogen. Now, how this -4 has come? We are comparing carbon with hydrogen. Hydrogen is less electronegative than carbon, so it has to be +1. Each hydrogen +1. There are 4 hydrogens. Suppose I don't know what is the oxidation number for carbon, so I'll take it as X to start with. There are 4 hydrogens, and here I have written +1 because the oxidation number is per atom always. So 4 hydrogens, that means total +4 charge. And on CH4 as whole, we do not have any charge, neutral, so I'll write 0. So what is X? X is -4. This is how we find out the oxidation number. Cl2, it's an element. Any element you take, any metal, any element, that is 0 oxidation number. There is no transfer of electron. It's in the pure state. Same way for CCl4, carbon will get +4 charge. Why? Because Cl is more electronegative. Each Cl is -1, so it will get +4. H +1, Cl -1, this way. So what is this oxidation number if I want to define? It is basically denoting the oxidation state of an element in a compound ascertained according to a set of rules formulated. On the basis of that, electron pair in a covalent bond belongs entirely to more electronegative element. That's why we are saying that we assume complete transfer of electrons. This table will help you in finding out the oxidation number. Group 1 metal, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, lithium, they always have +1 oxidation state. They are the most metallic. Group 2, beryllium, magnesium, they always have +2. Oxygen has usually -2, except in peroxides and F2O kind of compounds, because here it will be having fluorine can never have any other oxidation state but -1. This is the most electronegative. So fluorine always -1. So when oxygen is getting bonded to fluorine, it should have a positive oxidation state. In peroxides, oxygen is -1. In superoxides, oxygen is -1/2, and in its compounds with fluorine, it is always positively charged. Like here, it will be +2 because fluorine will be -1. So how will I calculate? I'll write X for oxygen. Suppose I don't know. For each fluorine -1, so total is -2 equal to 0. So it will be +2 for oxygen. Oxygen is the second most electronegative element after fluorine. So if it is getting bonded to fluorine only, then it can be positive. Otherwise, everywhere it will have a negative charge. Hydrogen usually +1, except when it is bonded to metals like NaH we saw. There it will be -1 always. Chlorine usually -1, but in compounds with oxygen or fluorine, because they are more electronegative than chlorine, it will have positive oxidation state. And there are some rules that the oxidation number of atoms in any free or uncombined element, that will be 0, like H2Cl2Na. The sum of the oxidation numbers of all atoms in a compound is 0. I have been using it. We are taking the sum 0 because the neutral compounds are neutral. And the sum of oxidation number of all atoms in an ion is equal to the charge. Like I want to calculate the oxidation state, oxidation number of carbon in carbonate. So we know that carbonate has 2 negative charge. So how will I write it? For carbon, I'll write X. I don't know the oxidation state. For oxygen, -2. There are 3 oxygens, so it becomes -6, right? This is X. This is -2. I have written total -6 for 3 oxygens equal to, this will be equal to -2 now. Why? Because the whole ion has -2 charged on it. So this is the concept. And here X is going to be +4 then. Now the oxidation number of fluorine in all its compounds is -1. And the oxidation number of other halogens in their compounds is usually -1, but if they are getting bonded to fluorine or any other more electronegative element like oxygen, then it will be positive for them. We'll see many examples. The idea of oxidation number has been applied to define terms like oxidation, increase in the oxidation number of the element in a given substance, reduction, decrease in the oxidation number of the element in the given substance, oxidizing agent, which is also called oxidant, a reagent which can increase the oxidation number of an element in a given substance, and a reducing agent, that is reductant, is a reagent which lowers the oxidation number of an element in a given substance. Now, redox reactions are the reactions which involve change in oxidation number of the interacting species. Take this example. Here we have to justify that the reaction given is a redox reaction. So first of all, I will write down the oxidation state of all the elements in the given substance. -2 for oxygen, so +1 for copper. -2 for sulfur as sulfide, so +1 for copper. 0 for copper here, it's an element. -2 for oxygen and +4 for sulfur. Now we can see that copper here and here from +1 is changing to copper in 0 oxidation state. That means this is taking electrons. So this is clearly reduction of copper ion. And sulfur from -2, it is changing to +4. So this is losing electrons. So this is clearly the oxidation. So yes, this is a redox reaction. We have justified. Now we have to identify the species oxidized and reduced. That we have already done. And we have to tell that which acts as an oxidant and which acts as a reductant. This part we have to do. Since we have identified that in the given reaction, Cu +1, copper ion is changing to copper metal. So this is a reduction because it is taking electron. So copper ion Cu +1 in Cu2O as well as Cu2S is the oxidizing agent because it is getting reduced. And sulfur is getting oxidized by loss of electron. I should not say sulfur, I should say sulfide because it is S with 2 negative charge. So if I have to tell what is the getting oxidized, it will be sulfide getting oxidized to S with 4 positive charge. So this sulfide in Cu2S is the reducing agent, that is reductant. So this is how we identify. Now we have to discuss the most important part of the chapter, application of whatever we have understood till now, that is balancing of redox reactions. There are two methods to do it. One is oxidation number method, which I'll tell you first, and then the half reaction method. So let us start with oxidation number method, and we take a specific problem. This is NCERT problem 8.8. Write the net ionic equation for the reaction of potassium dichromate, that is K2Cr2O7, and this 6 which is here in the bracket in Roman numerals, this is the oxidation state of chromium. This is called stock notation. Stock notation, we have to write the name of the given compound along with the oxidation state of the metal which is involved there, which has variable oxidation state, that metal in the Roman numeral. So this is potassium dichromate and it is reacting with sodium sulfide, that is Na2SO3, and I'm getting in the acidic medium. All this is important. We need medium and what are the reactants and products, and it is giving me chromium 3, that is this ion, and sulfate ion SO4 2 negative. Now here we do not write K2Cr2O7 or Na2SO3. Why? Because we have to write the net ionic equation, and K2Cr2O7 as well as Na2SO3, they are compounds, they are not ions. So on the right hand side I do not have Na and potassium. So on the left hand side also I have to remove them. So this is the first step. I have written the ionic equation. Now stepwise we'll move. The skeletal ionic equation we have already written in the previous slide. This is first step. And then assign oxidation numbers for Cr and S. For that, you have to write the oxidation number of every atom, every element involved in the substances which are there. So for oxygen, I'll write -2, and for Cr, I'll do the calculation. So let me tell you here, how will you calculate this? If you have Cr2, let us take 2x. This X is for 1 Cr. As I told you, oxidation state or oxidation number pertains to single atom. So X is for 1 and there are 2 Cr. So I have written 2X because I don't know what is the oxidation state right now. There are 7 oxygens. Each oxygen has -2, so it becomes -14. And according to rules, ions, whatever charge is there on the ion, here I can see there is 2 negative charge on dichromate. So I will write this is equal to -2. When I solve it, X will come out to be +6. So this is the oxidation state of chromium. So you will write it here. And then SO3, same way, take sulfur as X and X -6 equal to -2. You will get +4 for sulfur. Cr3 plus is already given. I don't have to do any calculations here. It's already +3. For SO4 2 negative, here the sulfur would be +6. So second step we have done. Now we will calculate the increase and decrease of oxidation number. Before moving further, I want to make a very important point here that whenever you notice that there is change in oxidation state, like here Cr is +6 and here it is +3. There is a change in oxidation state. So right in the beginning, you make them equal. Once you notice there is change, make them equal, write 2 here. Otherwise, this particular point is going to give you a lot of problem in balancing, and we wonder that why my equation is not getting balanced. For sulfur, I can see +4 to +6, but on both the sides there is 1 sulfur, so that's fine. I don't need to write any number here. Okay, any number just before that entity in the reaction, but here for Cr, I need to write 2. Why? I just told you that if you observe there is change in oxidation state, +6 to +3 it is going. So I need to make them equal. I have 2 Cr here, so I'll make it 2 Cr3 plus. Now let us see the change in oxidation number. From +6 to +3, that means it is taking electrons. So there are 2 Cr, 2 chromiums on both the side. If one is taking 6 electrons, if one is taking 3 electrons, sorry, then 2 will be taking 6 electrons. So I will write +6 electrons. Let me tell you again in case there is any confusion. From +6, it is changing to +3. What is changing? Chromium. +6 to +3 means gain of 3 electrons. Only then the positive charge will decrease. And there are 2 chromiums on both the sides, so there is gain of 6 electrons. Okay, this is reduction I have identified. Sulfur from +4 is changing to +6. It is losing electrons. How many electrons? 2 electrons, because there is only 1 sulfur. This I have identified. What is getting oxidized, what is getting reduced. Now, as the reaction occurs in acidic medium, we have written 2 here already. Okay, that is very important. As the reaction proceeds in acidic medium, we will be making use of H plus ions and water. And in every reaction, in every redox reaction, it's not necessary that H plus and water are added on the opposite side. Depends on the reaction. Sometimes they are added on the same side also. And in some reactions, there is an example of N2H4 in the exercise of the chapter, which is hydrazine. That is basic medium for the reaction, but I don't need to add OH minus there because the reactant is already basic. Even if you do not know these things, you can still balance if you follow these steps. So see carefully. Here, before moving further, I need to make the electrons gained, 6 electrons, and electrons lost equal. How will I do that? 6 electrons and 2 electrons. How will I make them equal? If I multiply this 2 by 3, I'll get 6 here. So that means I need to take 3 SO3 2 negative and I need to take 3 SO4 2 negative. 1 SO3 is losing 2 electrons. 3SO3 will lose 6 electrons. Okay, why 6 we need? Because here 6 electrons are required and we are balancing the equation, so the number of electrons lost and gained must be equal. So here it is 3 and it is also 3, and this 2 is already there as I explained. So here in the final equation, just to avoid any confusions, I am writing here and then we'll be making use of the acidic medium. So we have reached here till this point. Now, since it is a acidic medium, I will be making use of H plus and water. So we have to see that charges, how many charges are there on both the sides. Here I can see -2 charge, here I can see -2, but I have 3SO3 2 negative, so it becomes -6 here. -6 and -2 on the left hand side, total 8 negative charges I can see. On the right hand side, 2 into 3 plus, because there is +3 charge on chromium ion and there are 2 chromium ions, so we have +6, right? And here you have 3 into 2 minus -6. So net charge +6 and -6 would be 0. If my equation is balanced, the charges should be equal on both the sides. So what will I do? To cancel this -8, I have to introduce something positive here. Or to make this side -8, I have to introduce something negative here. But I do not have any choice for negative. I have just water and I have H plus. So I will be adding 8 H plus ions this side. So -8 and +8 would be 0 charge this side and now 0 charge this side. Once I introduce 8 hydrogens on the right hand side, I have to introduce 4 water molecules because there is no hydrogen on the right hand side and I have introduced 8 hydrogens here. So 4 into 2, 8. 8 hydrogens here also. Now you can simply check oxygens. If they are balanced in number, my equation is balanced. 7 oxygens here. 3 into 3, 9. 9 plus 7 is 16 oxygens on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, you have 3 into 4, 12 plus 4, 16. So this is the balanced equation. Now let us balance this equation. It's in the basic medium. And in this equation, permanganate ion, MnO4 minus, is reacting with bromide ion and giving me manganese dioxide and bromate ion, BrO3, with a negative charge. So first of all, we have written the ionic equation. First step is done. Then I will calculate the oxidation state of Mn. Suppose we take it X, and for oxygen it is -2. So there are 4 oxygens, it becomes -8, equal to -1, because on permanganate ion there is 1 negative charge. So X comes out to be 7. For Br minus, it is -1 already. For MnO2, I'll do the calculation in the same manner. I'll get +4 here. For oxygen, it is -2. For BrO3 minus, this Br, it is +5. And for oxygen, it is -2. So I have written the oxidation state of all the elements in their respective compounds or ions here. Now, I'll check the change in oxidation number. Mn from +7 is changing to +4. They are 1 on both the sides. Br from -1 to +5, equal on both the sides. So there is no such problem. I don't need any coefficient here. Then I will see how many electrons lost and gained. So Mn from +7 is changing to +4. This can happen only if it takes 3 electrons. 3 negative charges will reduce +7 to +4. And Br from -1 to +5, that means it will lose this 1 electron first, which is giving it a negative charge, and become Br neutral. Further 5 electrons will be lost, so the total loss is -6 electrons. Now I have to make electrons lost and gained equal. But before that, can we identify the reducing agent and oxidizing agent from here? Let us see. MnO4 minus, permanganate ion, is taking electrons, so it is getting reduced. So this should be the oxidizing agent. And Br from -1 is changing to +5. This is itself getting oxidized. So Br minus, bromide ion, should be the reducing agent because it is providing electrons for the reduction of something else, right? Now to make the electrons lost and gained equal, I need to multiply this 3 by 2. 2 into 3 electrons will make it equal to 6 electrons lost and 6 electrons gained. So multiplying here by 2 means from where it is starting, from here this should be 2 and MnO2 should also be 2. So we have reached here. Now let us see the charges on both the sides. Once I reach this stage, it has to be -2 here because there are two permanganate ions. Each one is having -1 charge. Br has -1. So how many total charges here? -3. On the right hand side, I can see only one negative charge. MnO2 is neutral. So I have to make the charges equal on both the sides. And in basic medium, I have this choice of OH minus and H2O. That is the meaning of basic medium. Now OH minus has negative charge, so that's why we have added two negative charges on the right hand side. Now the total charge here also becomes -3. The charges are balanced. That means my equation is balanced. Or I am forgetting something. Yes, we still have to introduce hydrogens on the left hand side because here I have introduced hydrogen and there is no hydrogen on the left hand side. I have introduced two OH minus, two hydrogens here. So on the left hand side, let us write one H2O because in one H2O there are two hydrogens. And now again we will check our equation by counting all the atoms of all the elements which are present in different substances. Two hydrogens sorted, one oxygen, 4 into 2, 8 oxygens, 9 in total on the left hand side. On the right hand side, I have 2 into 2, 4 oxygens, plus 3 oxygens, 7, plus 2 oxygens, 9. Perfect. Oxygen is also balanced. There are 2 Mn and there are 2 Mn. And there is one bromide, one bromide. So I have cross-checked. My equation is perfectly balanced. Now let me tell you the other method, half reaction method, which is also called ion electron method. In this method, the basic technique is same. You have to identify what is getting oxidized, what is getting reduced, and then make the electrons lost and gained equal. But the only difference is, I would say, in the beginning, when you write ionic equation, for example, balance the equation showing the oxidation of Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus, Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus by dichromate ion, that is Cr2O7 negative, and the ions, dichromate ions are reduced to Cr3 plus. So I have written the ionic equation here. First step, same as the previous method, oxidation number method. But after that, I need to first identify Fe2 plus is changing to Fe3 plus. This is loss of one electron. This is oxidation. So I have written it here separately. And same way, dichromate ion is changing to Cr3 plus 6 to +3. That means a reduction. So we have separated two half reactions from the given redox reaction. And these two we have to now balance separately. In the end, we will add them together. Electrons lost and gained would be cancelled and I will be getting the final balanced reaction. So let us first balance the reduction half. Why am I saying this is reduction half? Because chromium, if you calculate, it will be +6 here. We have done in the previous example also. And from +6, it is changing to +3. That means it is taking 3 electrons and there are 2 chromium. So it is mandatory that here I write 2 right in the beginning. So if I write it this way, I can see that 6 electrons are being taken by Cr2O7 negative. If one Cr is changing from +6 to +3, it is taking 3 electrons. So 2 Cr will be taking how many? 6 electrons. So you write 6 electrons on this side. Plus Cr2O7 negative. That means this is taking 6 electrons and changing to 2Cr3 plus. Now I can see that on the left hand side we have oxygens, on the right hand side we don't have any oxygens. And otherwise also, if you see the charges on the left hand side, there are 2 negative charges here and 6 negative. We have introduced 8 negative, and on the right hand side 2 into 3, 6 positive. So it is totally imbalanced. So I need to balance it first. Now let us see How to do that? If I say I have plus 6 charges on this side and I have 6 negative and 2 negative, 8 negative this side, and it is acidic medium. So I will be having the choice of H plus and water. Now there are two possibilities. I can balance it by taking care of charges on both the sides, or I can balance it on the basis of oxygens. There are 7 oxygens here. So if I introduce 7 H2 on the right hand side, I have introduced 7 oxygens here also, and 7 into 2, 14 hydrogens. So on the left hand side, I will write 14 H plus because it is acidic medium. But I have to be doubly sure that my half reaction is balanced. Only then I can move to the next half. Now we will check on the basis of charges. 2 negative here, 14 positive here, right? And please do not forget to write 6 electrons here because this is required. I have total 8 negative and 14 positive. So it is plus 6. The net charge on the left hand side is 6 positive. On the right hand side, already 6 positive. I can see 2 chromiums on both the sides. I can see 7 hydrogens on both the sides. Not 7, sorry. 14 hydrogens on both the sides and 7 oxygens on both the sides. So this half is balanced. Now, let us see the second half. Fe2 plus changing to Fe3 plus. So this will be minus 1 electron. That is loss of 1 electron, which we write on the right hand side. And there are 6 electrons involved in the other half. It needs 6 electrons, but it is giving only 1. So I need to make this change and multiply the whole equation by 6. So I get 6 Fe2 plus gives 6 Fe3 plus 6 electrons. We have to make electrons gained and lost equal. So that is why we have to multiply this equation by 6. And this equation we already have. The equation for ferrous and ferric ions, is it already balanced? 6 Fe2 plus means 12 positive charges. 6 Fe3 plus means 18 positive, and we have introduced 6 negative, so it also becomes 12 positive. So perfect, it is balanced. Now I will add two equations. When I do so, it's very easy to understand that these 6 electrons will be cancelled by these 6 electrons, and we will get this equation finally. So this is my balanced equation. I have verified using charges, atoms. So this is the perfect balancing that we have done. Now let us balance this equation. Since we have done both the methods, there is another equation for practice. Let us balance this by both the methods. First is oxidation number method. The equation I have taken from this problem 8.10 of NCERT. Permanganate ion MnO4 minus is reacting with iodide ion I minus and giving MnO2, manganese dioxide, and molecular iodine, that is I2. So first of all, I will write the oxidation state plus 7 minus 2 minus 1 here. Here if I calculate, it will be plus 4. Here it will be minus 2, and for elements it is 0. Now I will check. Oxidation state is changing for Mn. They are 1 on both the sides. Perfect. For iodine, it is 1 iodine here and 2 I here I can see. So first of all, what will I do? I will simply write 2 here so that both iodines are in same number on both the sides. For oxygens, I am not writing anything as a coefficient because its oxidation state is not changing. Once I get this 2I minus, right? We have seen that Mn plus 7 is changing to plus 4. That means gaining 3 electrons, and there is only one Mn on the left hand side, one on the right hand side, so it is fine. Iodine minus 1 to 0 means it is losing 1 electron, and there are 2 iodines, so how many electrons are being lost? 2 electrons are being lost in moving from minus 1 to 0 charge. How to make this 3 and 2 equal? If I multiply here by 2, that means 2 here and 2 here, it becomes 6 electrons. And if I multiply here by 3, that means it is already 2i negative. It becomes 6 here, 6i negative. And on the right hand side, 3. Be very careful. I have multiplied it by 3 and there was already 2 here. If I forget to write this 2 initially, I'll write 3i minus giving 3i2, which is impossible. There have to be equal number of these atoms on both the sides. So this is something very important. So here I will not write 2, I will write 6 now. 6i minus. And then it was 2. It was 2. It has become 3. So I have reached here. Let me write it clearly. 6 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 3 here. Now what is the medium given? The medium is, if you see the question carefully, basic. What choice I have? I have the choice of OH minus and water. So let us see that how can I make use of this OH minus and H2O and balance my equation finally. So I will see charges on both the sides. Here you have minus 1 charge. On MnO4 minus, there are 2 MnO4 minus, it becomes minus 2. 6 negative charge, I can see 8 negative on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, no charge, 0. So if this side I introduce 8 OH minus, because it is basic medium, I will be getting 8 negative charges here also. But there is no hydrogen on the left hand side, so I have to introduce 4 water molecules because 8 hydrogens are introduced already on the right hand side. According to me, this is the balanced equation. Let us check. 8 hydrogens here, 8 hydrogens here. Charges are already balanced. 4 oxygens here in water and 4 into 2, 8 oxygens in permanganate ion. 8 plus 4 is 12 oxygens on the left hand side. On the right hand side, you have 8 oxygens here and 4 here, 12. Perfect. 2 manganese, 2 manganese. 6 iodine, 6 iodine. So my equation is properly balanced. First method I have done. Let's do it by the second method. Half reaction method. In this, we already have done it. So we can be a little faster. Plus 7, minus 2, minus 1, plus 4, minus 2, 0. And I have separated this reaction, MnO4 minus, giving MnO2, that is taking 3 electrons. So what will I call it? Reduction half or oxidation half? Obviously reduction half, because plus 7 is changing to plus 4. 3 electrons are taken up. And this side, minus 1 is changing to 0. Let me make them equal first. It should be 2 here, right? And now 1I minus is losing 1 electron, so 2 will lose 2 electrons. So electrons lost will be returned with the product right hand side. I have to make these electrons gained and lost equal. So the simple thing is multiply this equation by 2 and multiply this equation by 3. I'm doing it simultaneously. You can do the reduction half first and then oxidation half. That is up to you. So I have reached here 6 electrons plus MnO4 minus, giving, it should be 2 MnO4 minus, because we have to multiply everything by 2. And it will give me 2 MnO2. And here if I multiply by 3, it becomes 6I minus, giving 3I2 plus 6 electrons. Okay, so electrons lost and gained are equal. Here I have 8 negative charges on the left hand side, 2 negative from MnO4 minus and 6 electron, 0 charge on this side. Here I have 6 negative on the left hand side and 6 negative on the right hand side. So this equation I can see is balanced. Now I have to concentrate here. In this reaction, 8 negative charges on the left hand side, basic medium. So I can introduce 8 negative charges on the right hand side, 8 OH minus. And because I have introduced hydrogen, so I need to introduce 4 water molecules on this side. 4 H2O plus 6 electrons plus 2 MnO4 minus gives this. And then once you are sure that the equations are balanced, two halves, you add them. When you are going to add them, these 6 electrons will be cancelled by these 6 electrons and you will get the same equation as you got in the previous slide. So my equation, balanced equation, is going to be 2MnO4 minus plus 6I minus gives 2MnO2 plus 3I2. After adding, you will get this. And on the right hand side, we have added 8 OH minus. And on the left hand side, we added 4 water molecules. You can check your equation if it is balanced or not. Here you have equal charges on both the sides. 8 negative here and 6 plus 2, 8 negative here. 2Mn, 2Mn. 4 into 2, 8 hydrogens on left hand side, 8 on the right hand side. 6 iodines on left, 6 on right, and oxygens 4 into 2, 8 plus 4, 12. Same way on the right hand side, 8 oxygens here and 4 here, 12. So perfectly balanced by both the methods. This is the basic thing that how you will be balancing the redox reactions. I hope the presentation helps you. And same way, by both the methods, we can practice many equations which are given in NCERT. Remember that in some of the equations we may not require the H plus and water addition of both. Maybe the reactant or some species in the container is already acidic, which is balancing it. So we just have to see the charges and the atoms of each kind, that they should be balanced on both the sides. Some reactions like disproportionation reaction for P4 is given to be balanced. For that, I'll recommend that always start with half reaction method so that you're not getting confused for disproportionation specifically. So try many equations from NCERT and other reference books and you will be perfect in balancing when you do all of them. Thank you.